What's going on, my everyday scholars? Long time no see, but I'm back. I'm back, and today I just something I wanted to get off my chest. The world is on fire right now. The whole world. In particular, what's been heavy on my heart is the LA ICE protests for a number of reasons. There's so many different things involved, but I want to talk about specifically how the Latino Americans are being targeted. Now, don't get me wrong. I fully understand and am aware that there are black immigrants too that are just as impacted and attacked and terrorized as these Latino Americans. But I want to talk specifically about the Latino Americans because there are some things that are just swept under the rug, like they just don't make sense. Okay, so let's start here. Mexican Americans, no, matter of fact, Mexicans belong in America. Mexicans belong in the United States, no matter their citizenship status, no matter their documentation status, no matter any of those things. Mexicans belong in these lands. So, one, just get in the mindset of a government entity, one that was founded on European principles from people who sailed over here, who killed, poisoned, starved, raped, burned down, and destroyed socializations, civilizations, nations. And now because they have the power, they get to dictate who belongs here and who doesn't. I am always taken aback. The amount of cognitive dissonance, the amount of denial, the lie you have to live in, the things that you have to ignore as a European American and the United States as itself, the history you have to ignore, the reality that you have to ignore is far beyond reality. Dare I say evil. And now, as this entity, you want to determine who is here. So, no, that we just have to start there. Because I think these conversations really graze over the historical context, and of course, my everyday scholars here, we gotta add some type of historical context to this, and I'll be getting into maybe some of that, but not nothing too crazy. You could do your own research. You can find your own books. You can an Indigenous Peoples History of the United States, right? It's a book I read, great book. There's more. But that's just one that comes to mind. You could do your own research, but yeah, Mexicans belong here. They do, and European Americans don't really have a right to say that they don't. And I got a few points, and so here's what we're gonna go down. Okay, so first, I already talked about this, right? The LA protests are in what once was Mexico. Yes, the LA protests are in. It's called Los Angeles. Los Angeles. It is a Spanish name because Mexico got conquered by Spain, and most of Latin America got conquered by Spain, so now they speak Spanish. But this place had roots in not the entity of the United States, but in Mexico. They have roots. They have long established roots, um, and there are government entities that just made up new lines, right? Arizona, New Mexico, The state is called New Mexico, Nevada, right? All up and down California. You can talk about San Jose. You could talk about San Francisco. Uh, just name after name after name, right? Because this place that a government entity, the United States, just drew some new lines and say we own it, changed, right? Um, I mean, one could say that Mexicans didn't cross the border crossed them, right? There's even treaties that are, of course, not upheld. I wish I knew that treaty. I'll have to ask, but um, I'll figure that out. But there's even treaties where Spanish is still supposed to be the main language used in what once was Mexico, right? So California, Nevada, um, I think New Mexico, Arizona, but yeah. So that's one reason. Um, One other reason too is um, the way our economy runs would not function without Mexican labor. You hear people talk about it all the time. You hear people talking about, um, you're not gonna pick them tomatoes. You're not gonna pick those strawberries. You're not gonna pick, all these different things. Right now, that is not the only thing that Latino Americans do here. And if you want your cheap tomatoes from Burger King, it's them. The European American farmers who pretty much having a monopoly on the farms and who gets paid and find all the ways to try to cut corners and stuff. They're using undocumented people because it's cheaper. That's a corner they can cut. Man, hold on. Oh, allergies. Um, that's a corner they can cut. So I think it's important to put that into context because the labor that they contribute is foundational. Everyday stuff, lettuce, asparagus, all our fruits and vegetables, right? Meat packing companies, uh, uh, chicken farming and egg farming companies, all this agricultural work, Mexican and Latino Americans have a part in it. Construction, construction is a big one as well when it comes to building houses and increasing the availability and building units and all those different things. Latino Americans, specifically Mexican Americans, are a large part of that as well. Nobody talks about that. These, you know, these Republicans, they talk about these, undocumented people as if that they're not needed, that they don't have any value, that they don't support what the United States is today. That is a lie. They are blatantly ignoring it. They are blatantly ignoring it and being discriminatory because they speak a different language, maybe have an accent, have different skin, have a different heritage. That's it. So, okay. So labor, um, economic contributions, right? So Mexicans contribute billions to the U.S. economy annually. They pay taxes and support local businesses, right? I feel like the right tries to paint a picture of these undocumented people as leeches, as people uh, who are. Dang, I got a whole splinter in my dang hand. Anyway, as people who are freeloaders who reap the benefits of the United States system, and they get all the urgent care, health care, and drive the roads, and blah, 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 all these things, and act like if they are not a contributor to the U.S. economy and its tax system. Okay. Now, whether that's like state and local taxes that they pay, there's sales taxes, there are taxes that, um, companies take out of paychecks uh, that they have to also pay into, and they don't get Social Security, right? They don't get they don't get Medicaid. All those things are things that they contribute to but don't get back. So don't let them fool you into believing that the Mexicans are not of value. Um, let's see. What would America be without tacos? Are we serious? Burritos? You ever had enchiladas before? Carne asada? Are you serious? The Mexican and Hispanic Latino culture is integral to America. Is integral to the United States. Like if you go somewhere and you can't find a Mexican restaurant, that's almost un-American. Anywhere you can go to the smallest Eastern Oregon town, because Eastern Washington town, you can go to wherever it is, and typically you'll find a place where you can get some tacos. I don't know if those tacos are gonna be good, but you can find some tacos, right? Taco Bell is one of the biggest chains, and I know that is nowhere near authentic Mexican cuisine. At the same time, because of it's an example of how that culture has been shifted and incorporated to an extent into one of the biggest biggest food chains in the world, actually. So there's a cultural influence that can't be denied that is intertwined in the fabric of the United States. Again, when you make these statements or make this approach as if you're going to deport every undocumented person, Latino person especially, because we know they're not targeting the white immigrants. Matter of fact, they're flying them in from South Africa. I digress. These people are a part of the fabric of the United States. Point blank, period. Now, the human rights perspective. I've already talked about how, like, European Americans coming over here, just saying that this is ours because it's ours and because we can kill you, and that's what makes it right. That is essentially the authority behind our law and what we have as a country. We can kill you. We have big tanks. We have bombs. We have police. We have military. Do what I say, or else we'll just kill you or put you in jail and make your life a living hell. That's it. But outside of that, outside of all these reasons, none of those things even really matter. No human is illegal. There is, throughout the history of humanity, people have moved all across the world, from place to place, island to island, in search of survival, in search of thrival, right? The ability to thrive, community, food, availability, space, the opportunity, the ability to provide. All these things are just what humans do. We move from place to place. There is no such thing as an illegal person, undocumented or not. Humans are human, and every human, whether you are a United States citizen or not, whether you are documented or not, every human deserves to be treated with dignity and respect. I truly believe because we have all of the resources to do so, there should not be a single person on earth to ever go hungry. The only reason they do is because of systems of exploitation, and we've been conditioned to turn a blind eye to the cruelty that promotes the greed. That's it. Every human deserves to be treated with dignity and deserves to be valued. In particular, people who are coming to this country who are fleeing extreme poverty, who are fleeing persecution politically because of their sexual orientation or gender expression, all of those things. Those people deserve to be valued and helped as well. In addition to that, we, the United States government, have been integral in creating the conditions that inspire people to flee their countries. I have a longer video on that, talking about there's all types of CIA coups and presidents and presidents that have been killed, assassinated. We funded militaries. Also, we can grow bananas in Nicaragua. Also, we can have Jaime Roldos in Panama, who was if you ever just Google it, I don't know, get a video. Confessions of an Economic Hitman is the book. But you can also Google it and see some videos and different things like that of how they send people in for economic means. They keep these countries poor because it benefits them. It makes our bananas cheap. It makes our avocados cheap. This is why when we have these conversations about these people, quote unquote, Latino Americans and different things like that, quote unquote, not deserving to be here, you are in full denial mode. You are blocking out total aspects and total histories and our involvement in creating unstable circumstances all over Latin America. So we have to take that into mind as well. Those are the big ones. Just a couple of thoughts. My heart's real heavy. I got family down there that's, and they're sad. I know a guy, I know people who are in the process of doing things the right way, and they can't, or they're afraid to, because ICE is arresting them at the courthouse for doing the right thing. People who work every day and do their best to pay their bills, feed their kids, all that. Not a criminal, not any of them. No. I mean, and let's be real too. ICE, them going after quote unquote criminals is a lie too. They're in places of work. They're in like workplaces. People who are working hard. That's where they're going. They're not going to the red light district, the dark alleys, the places where you might find criminals. They're not going through prisons or different things like that. No. They're going to restaurants. They're going to malls. They're going to farms. They're going to factories. You tell me if that is motivated by making people safe or making people scared. Anyway, Done Chocolate out here. Uh, I need to get these subscribers up. Go on, hit that button. I'm gonna come with some more stuff. I keep saying it, but I'm gonna get more consistent and just put up videos and just speak my mind. But yeah, Mexicans belong here, right? So yeah, peace.